Well, Carl, it was an exciting ending. Actually, it was almost a little too exciting for me. If I hadn't PVR'd it, I probably would have missed most of it. It was like speed golf. So, given that you run between shots, what did you think of the show? Tell me what your day was like.
It was kind of good being able to come back for the show, and let me just start by saying, actually, thanks again for having me. It was good to be there. I guess for me, in track, when you miss out in the semifinals, they call it the darn shame award, because you're like, you're that close, but you didn't really get it. For me, it was kind of business as usual, I guess, because I was only away for that one night. So I didn't miss that much. I think it was probably a little bit more surreal for the rest of the guys who had been away, more than one evening, and coming back and seeing the set and feeling that it's knowing that it's down to two people. So, it was business as usual for me. It was sad that I wasn't playing in the finale, but I was championing the two guys who had endured to the end, and it was just nice being back on set and being there to support the guys.
Well, what did you think of the format of the competition with the money and the money was going from each other's bank accounts basically, and just the whole format of the show? What did you think?
I think it was a perfect. I think it was a perfect conclusion to this whole season. I mean, we started out by saying winner take all. We started out by saying that the money position was important. And we started out by saying, you have to hedge yourself in such a way that you maximize your chance of winning the show. And the way they formatted everything in the end was the best example of that. It was poker on the golf course. We are paying for X, and once the bank is done, we're going to pay for Y, and it's coming out of your pocket. And guess what? If I get to a point where I have so much more money than you, I might just call you to go in, and survival now becomes I must win everything here going forward in order to extend the match. So it was a perfect conclusion to what I think is, not because I was on it, but the greatest season in Big Break history.
I agree. And what was really cool about the whole thing? David, youngest player ever on the Big Break, just turned professional. He was the lowest guy in the money list for a long time. He had more eliminations than anybody else in terms of having to compete to stay on the show. So it almost is like he went into that with everything against him. I mean, and yet, as the underdog, though, he came on top at the end and took it all.
Well, I looked at it from a different perspective. I thought that he went into it with everything going towards his favor. You know me, I've talked about golf being a mental game. And the first time we were all exposed to the pressure of the Big Break, it was foreign to us. So our reaction was going to be determined by how we were able to handle that pressure that is unfamiliar. David, having been in so many elimination rounds, kind of nullified the effect to an extent of the emotions that you have to deal with once you're there. So for him, it was actually a plus of having gone through all those eliminations, because now you're not, it was kind of a familiar place for him. So it gave, I thought it gave him an edge going in, because he would be better able to dig from experience what it was like and understand when he was getting nervous and refocus, and when he was going off and thinking too far ahead and refocus. The experience of having been in so many eliminations, I think played into his hand. Not to negate the fact that he did play best of the two, but it definitely did help him going into that competition.
Yeah, and of course then Kent, high on the money list throughout, and only had one elimination challenge with you last week. Both times, last week and this week, Kent started off very slow, and yet he never gave up. He fought right to the bitter end, which was beautiful, because right to that last putt, you just didn't know who was going to win. But Kent has an interesting style. He comes off a little slow at the beginning, but then, and you think he's behind the eight ball and he isn't going to get back, but he comes back. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's I think I said to Kent, one of the things I liked about that was, you know, I often compare golf and track because those are the two sports that I've competed in, at a higher level. Not, golf, of course, because I'm not on the PGA Tour yet. But when you're running, especially for an 800 meter, which was my pet event, you never want to really take the lead early because, there's wind factors and you have to hold that pace and you better be ready to go because a guy might be drafting off you and then beat you at the finish. So you want to just position yourself in a place where you can strike at any time. And that's the kind of mentality that I saw from Kent. He was just waiting and biding his time to strike. Fortunately, again, and as in golf and track, if you let someone gain a significant advantage, then it's sometimes hard to come back. But he's a competitor at heart, and like I said, hats off to him. I think I joked with David and said, man, I think I softened him up for you for that for that finale. But yeah, he's definitely a competitor and a fighter, so nothing can be taken away from both of them. They played, some beautiful golf.
Yeah, they did, yeah. Well, speaking of the PGA Tour, and that's everybody's dream to get there, a lot of people get there and then they don't really perform to the expectations that either they have for themselves or others. Every year we have $1 million going to about 100 players on the PGA Tour, and many of them haven't won. So what is it that separates those who can close it and those who can't?
I think it's, and this is just my uneducated guess. I think it's your objective. I really think it's your objective. Your objective seems to define your grit. Okay? For a guy who sees this as a job and a potential to earn, which I would say is probably one of the hardest jobs you want to have anyway, because it fluctuates so much. But there's guys who go out there and they want to be on tour, they want to play well, but they're satisfied with being able to earn a living and go from there. Then there are those guys who there is nothing more important to them than making a statement with their performance. I can only draw from my experience. For me, I know that track and field is Jamaica's bread and butter in terms of their performance on the world stage.
Mm-hmm.
But I was motivated by the secondary goal of trying to show them, Jamaica, that, hey, golf is an option as well. And, especially because the Olympics is coming up. So I guess it's, I have to say it's drive. What is your objective in the sport? Is it just to win and have some money and you can, you can earn a great living, or are you going for that win? Are you defined by that win and that desire to play this game and to be the best of it? And then there comes in the mental factor, which is, can you handle that pressure and the quieting of the mind to be able to perform in the moment and also divorce the bad things, look with optimism for the next shot, and then just go through. So I think it's a combination of your objective and a combination of your mental strength.
Yeah, and a good dose of amnesia for your last hole, sometimes pretty helpful as well. Let's talk about the Golf Channel. This is, they've been doing so many big breaks over the years. I've seen them all. This one at the top by far for me. You've been through one now. You've watched them. If you were going to tell the Golf Channel what to do for the next big break, what recommendations would you give them?
I would say to them, let this set a precedent that there are many reality shows out there that deals with, there are many reality shows out there that deals with the conflict among individuals to create buzz.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular big break showed that there can be drama there can be that suspense. There can be nail-biting experiences if you respect your competitor, if you are honorable, and if you have a story that the viewing audience and the fans of the Big Break franchise can fall in love with. And then you go and create the drama itself on the course. You know, I think I said that in our first breakfast meeting. Let us respectfully, let us win honorably, and let us lose honorably and create the drama on the course. Now, at the time when I said that, I didn't know that the shots and the performances that happened on the show were going to happen, but I just felt that the group of individuals that were there were uniquely suited to set a precedence going forward. So my advice would be, this is a winning formula. You want to continue this trend, because I can tell you from the blogs that you read and the responses that you're getting from the fans, everybody liked the fact that we were being gentlemen on the course, but at the same time being fierce warriors and fierce competitors.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think that's the number one thing is, you know, it's the cast. Choose the right cast. You'll have a successful program, no question. Well, Carl, we've had such a great talk over the last few weeks, and I'm sorry to see this is the last one on the Big Break, but I look forward to talking to you in the future as we stay in touch and I can share your story and your journey to your dreams. So as we close, is there anything that you wanted to share before we end this?
Well, I just want to say thank you for having me on the show for the time, for our talk, for the time that you did. I greatly appreciate it. Like I said, I feel like I've lost my identity in terms of who I am, because I feel like I've been adopted by Canadians, Americans, Jamaicans, everybody. But it was a great experience. There is no doubt in my mind that you will hear from me again, and you will see things that are happening. I am refocusing myself right now because I have discovered what is necessary to get me to the next level, and that's what I'm working on. I think I made the statement in the Golf Channel. You've seen Shine 2.0, Proud 2.0 is coming, and it's going to be an exciting thing to watch.
Oh, I can't wait. And bring that little red book with you for sure. We all want to see that again. Okay, Carl, thank you so much. You have a great week, and look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me again, and take care.